Hi there, I'm Erin with 5 Parks Yoga. I'm so glad you've joined me for this class. Today's class is in honor of the Fall Equinox. We are going to dedicate this time on our mat to embracing balance. As we honor the Fall Equinox, a time of equal light and darkness, this practice will help us embrace balance both physically and mentally. We'll focus on grounding poses, balance work, and mindful movement to reflect the changing season and invite a sense of harmony into our lives. Before we begin, I want to take a moment to extend my gratitude to all of my wonderful YouTube members and Patreon supporters. Your continued support helps us create these free yoga classes for everyone, and I appreciate it more than I can express. You might also notice that we've added a new graphic highlighting all of our beloved Patreon members. If you're interested in supporting 5 Parks Yoga or getting your name on the screen, head to 5parksyoga.com/support for more details. Be sure to let YouTube know that you like the class with a quick thumbs up, and if you like these classes, you know what to do. Your support keeps this community growing, and I'm so thankful for each of you. All right, let's get started. Come into a comfortable seated position and let's take a few deep breaths to ground ourselves as we prepare to embrace balance during today's practice. In yoga, balance is not about holding a perfect pose, but about finding stability in the midst of change. Just as the equinox brings a moment of equilibrium, we use our practice to cultivate this sense of steadiness in our bodies and minds. As we flow, we learn to embrace both strength and surrender. As you elongate your spine in your seated position, bring your shoulders up by your ears and then roll them down your back. Relax your arms. You can have your palms resting on your knees or facing up with your fingers soft. Bring all of your attention and your awareness to your face. You can close your eyes or rest your gaze gently on the floor in front of you. Relax the space between and above your eyebrows. Soften your forehead, soften your jaw. Now let's work into a pranayama called equal breathing. So we're working toward bringing an equal length to our inhale and our exhale. I'm going to guide you into this by counting the breath, and then you are going to adjust your breathing pattern to suit you. So your breaths, your inhales and exhales may be longer or shorter than the ones I'm cueing, and it doesn't matter what the length of it is. Just work toward getting an equal length in your inhale and your exhale. So let's start with a cleansing breath together. Breathe in through your nose and hold it at the top. Take an extra sip of air, and when you're ready, exhale it through your mouth. Let's do one more like that. Big inhale, fill all the way up. Open mouth, exhale, let it all go. Close your lips. And again, relax your jaw. Begin to breathe in and out through your nose. So I'm going to go ahead and guide you into equal breathing, counting the inhale and counting the exhale. And then I will be silent and you can adjust and go into kind of a meditative state before we begin moving. So as you inhale, we're going to count to the... So as you inhale, we're going to count to 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pause and exhale. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pause. Inhale. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pause. Exhale. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pause. Continue on your own for 3 more breaths. your eyes are closed, you can open them. Continue with your equal breathing. We're going to begin to bring movement into the body. So as you inhale, lengthen once again, reaching through the top of your head. As you exhale, we're going to move into some neck rolls. So releasing your ear toward your shoulder, chin to your chest, coming into half or full neck rolls, whatever suits you, just slowly and gently warming up, loosening up the neck and the shoulders, the upper back and the chest. If you're doing full neck rolls, we're going to pause. Continue with half neck rolls if you're doing those. Now reverse directions. And complete your last circle in this direction. Pause. Lift your arms up overhead on a big inhale. And as you exhale, twist, bringing your right hand to your left knee and your left hand out behind. Peek out over your shoulder. Breathe in, come back to center, lifting your arms up overhead. Breathe out, switch directions. Left hand to right knee, right hand out behind. Look out over your shoulder. Breathe in, come back to center. Breathe out, bring your hands behind your back, interlace your fingers, press your fists down towards your mat, lift your chin up, look up toward the ceiling, begin to hinge forward, reaching the backs of your hands up and over the back of your head, stretching through your shoulders. On your next inhale, come all the way back up, release your hands, come into tabletop, taking your hands under your shoulders, your hips over your knees, spreading your fingers nice and wide, and then let's begin to move into the spine. So as you breathe in, drop your belly, lift the top of your head and your tailbone for cow pose. As you breathe out, round your spine, bring your chin towards your chest, draw your tailbone down. Continue moving with your breath, breathing in to cow pose, and breathing out, rounding into cat pose. See if you can make these movements equal and steady and in conjunction with your breathing pattern, which should be even and steady. We're gonna take one more of each, one more cow, one more cat, and then we'll be meeting back at a neutral tabletop position. So meet back in tabletop with a neutral spine, gazing at the floor. Let's move into our first balance called spinal balance. Extend your right arm forward and your left leg back. Try to keep your shoulders in one line with one another, your hips in one line with one another. Reach actively through your fingertips and press back through the ball of your foot. Engage your core. Take a breath in here. As you exhale, round, bring your right elbow to touch your left knee. Extend as you breathe in and round as you breathe out. One more time, extend and round. Extend here, place your right hand on the floor, bring your left leg to the left, position your toes in front of your heel. Take your right toes, tuck them under, bring your hip to your heel, walk your hands forward, bring your forehead to your mat. Can you feel the stretch in your left inner thigh? As your forehead rests on the floor, release the weight of your head so your neck is nice and long, and feel the stretch in both shoulders as you actively reach through both hands, spreading your fingers wide. Walk your hands back up so they're underneath your shoulder. Reach your arms up overhead. We're going to come into Queen's Gate pose and Gate pose. So first, take your left toes out to the left. Bring your left hand, slide it down your left leg. Reach your right arm up and over for Gate pose. And then we're going to take a chest opener and a back bend. Circle your arm around in front of your body. Reach your right hand to your right heel. And lift your left arm up and back as you reach back and gaze back. Circle your arm around again, and then return to a tabletop position, and we're going to take those postures on the other side, starting with spinal balance. Extend your left arm forward and your right leg back. Pause here. Balance your shoulders, balance your hips, reach through fingertips, press through the ball of your right foot. Breathe in. As you breathe out, round. Bring your left elbow to your right knee. Inhale and extend. We're going to do this 2 more times. Exhale and round. Inhale to extend. Exhale to round. Extend back to spinal balance. Place your left hand on the floor. Bring your right leg to the right. Position your toes in front of your right heel. Tuck your left toes under. Bring your hip to your heel. Walk your hands forward. Rest your forehead down on your mat. Feel your neck nice and long. No tension there. Stretch through your shoulders and feel the stretch in your right inner thigh. Walk your hands back underneath your shoulders. Press off your hands. Come all the way up, reaching your arms and hands up toward the ceiling and come into gate pose. So you can take your right toes, point them out, slide your right hand down your right leg, reach up and over with your left arm. Now circle your arm down and in front of you. Bring your left hand to your left heel. Circle your right arm up and back. Look up, look back. Open your chest. Arch through your spine. Come all the way back around. Return to tabletop position. And make your way to downward facing dog. Tuck your toes under, lift your hips up, release your heels down towards your mat. Look back at your feet. Your heels are disappearing behind your toes. Peek at your hands, spread your fingers nice and wide so that you can see mat between each finger. Take another inhale here. Exhale, release your heels a little bit further down towards your mat. Now we're going to take 3 breaths here with some free form movement. So whatever feels good in your body, go ahead and do that now as you steady your inhales and your exhales in your first downward facing dog. You can pedal out the legs, you can shake out your head, you can wobble your heels from side to side, and 1 more breath here. Look toward the front of your mat. Walk your feet forward. Come into ragdoll pose, resting your torso on your thighs, bending your legs a lot. You can rest your hands on the floor. You can take opposite hand to opposite elbow. Hang your head heavy. You can bend and straighten 1 leg at a time if you want to get into the hamstrings a little bit more, or you can just hang heavy, lengthening the spine, letting gravity do its work, the weight of the head, tractioning the spine as it comes down toward the floor. We're going to take 1 more breath here. All right, release your hands to the floor if they're not there already. Heel toe your feet together. Come down into a little ball. So your heels are going to lift up off the floor. You can keep your hands on the floor, assisting you with your balance, or you can wrap your arms around your legs, squeezing your knees together. Again, coming into a tight little ball. And just gently and easily testing out our balance here at the beginning of our class. All right, if your hands are not already, place them on the floor. Keep your heels lifted. We're going to come into a standing forward fold with lifted heels. So lift your hips up, bring your heels up, and then release them down to the floor. Sit low, coming into chair pose. Lift your arms up, sink your hips down, release your shoulders away from your ears. On your next breath in, rise all the way up to tall mountain pose and then come high up, lifting your heels off the mat, balancing here. For 1 more inhale and then exhale, release your heels down, come into standing forward fold. Inhale, come up to a halfway lift. Exhale, little ball. Keep your heels lifted. Inhale, standing forward fold with lifted heels. Exhale, release your heels. Inhale, rise up. This is called palm tree pose. You're gonna come through tall mountain, lift your heels up off of your mat, balancing here. And then this time on your exhale, release your heels and cactus your arms, lifting your chin, lifting your gaze. Breathe in, come to tall mountain. Breathe out, come to standing forward fold. Breathe in, come to chair pose. So lower your hips, lift your arms. This time we're adding drinking bird. So sweep your arms back, lift your heels up. Release your heels down. Inhale, palm tree pose through tall mountain. Lift your heels high. Exhale, cactus your arms, lower your heels, lift your chin. Breathe in, tall mountain pose. Breathe out, standing forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, little ball. Inhale, forward fold with lifted heels. Release your heels down to your mat, standing forward fold. Rise up through tall mountain. Come into palm tree pose. Lift your heels high. Release your heels, cactus your arms, lift your chin and gaze. Breathe in, tall mountain. Breathe out, standing forward fold. Halfway lift, extend your spine long. Standing forward fold. One more time. Inhale, chair. Lower your hips. Exhale, lift your heels, drinking bird. Inhale through tall mountain to palm tree pose. Lift your heels. Exhale, cactus your arms, lift your chin. Tall mountain. Standing forward fold. Halfway lift. Little ball. Breathe in, standing forward fold with lifted heels. Breathe out, release your heels. Rise up, tall mountain. We're gonna come into side moon pose. So bring your right hand, slide it down your right leg as you reach your left arm up and over, stretching through your left side. Gaze can be down at the floor or up toward the ceiling. Come through center, breathe in. Exhale to the other side. Slide your left hand down your left leg. Bring your right arm up and across, stretching through your right side. Gaze at the floor or at the ceiling. Come back through center. Let's cactus the arms one more time. Tall mountain, rise up. Standing forward fold, release. Come back into a halfway lift. Nice long spine from the crown of your head to your tailbone. Standing forward fold. Place your hands flat on your mat. Step back to high plank pose. Hold high plank for the count of 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. We're halfway through. 1. Shift forward, come onto the tops of your toes, and then lower all the way down onto your mat, grazing your elbows by your ribs. Take the tops of your feet flat to the floor. Breathe in, low lift cobra. Just lift your chest up off the floor here. Breathe out, lower down. Walk your hands back, one hand print. Breathe in, medium lift cobra. Come past your bottom ribs, lower down. Let's come into high cobra. Walk your hands back, one hand print. Press up to straight arms. Just don't lock out your elbows. And then option here to lift your chin up toward the ceiling, looking up, stretching through your throat and your chest. And then lower all the way down. Bring your hands back underneath your shoulders. Tuck your toes under. You can come through high plank, or you can keep your knees on the floor and come up, and then press back to downward facing dog. All right, let's move into our second sequence here. So look towards your hands, step, walk, or float to the front of your mat. Standing forward fold. Rise up, tall mountain. Breathe out, come back to standing forward fold. Come up to a halfway lift on your inhale. Standing forward fold. As you breathe out, step back to high plank pose. This time, if you'd like to take chaturanga, shift forward, lower halfway down. Of course, option to lower all the way down, do what we did before. Inhale, upward facing dog, keeping your knees up off the floor. Cobra, you keep your knees on the floor. Press back, downward facing dog. We're gonna do that 2 more times. So take another deep inhale and exhale here. With your breath, I'm going to cue you through sun salutations. So look forward, step to the front of your mat or hop. Standing forward, fold is your breath out. Tall mountain is your breath in. And standing forward, fold is your exhale. Halfway lift, breathe in. Step, walk, or back or jump back through chaturanga, dandasana, or any variation. Inhale to up dog and exhale back to downward facing dog. Take 1 inhale and exhale. 1 more time. Come to the front of your mat. Breathe out, fold. Breathe in, rise up. Breathe out, forward fold. Breathe in, monkey pose. Breathe out, chaturanga. Inhale, up dog or cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Pause here for 3 breaths. Alternatively, you can come into child's pose and take 3 breaths there. Next, we're going to move into some standing postures, which we're going to hold. So we're balancing the movement, the consistent breath to movement that we've been doing with holding postures. So really utilizing our foundation and our strength and our focus. So let's start here by lifting your right leg up, opening your hip and bending your legs so you can stretch through your hip flexor, your quadricep, your left inner thigh and hamstring. Take 1 more breath here. Now level out your hips, straighten your leg. Breathe out, knee to nose 1 time. Round your spine. See if you can touch your knee to your nose, looking past your fingertips. Breathe in, press back, 3-legged dog. As you exhale, come forward to low lunge pose. Keep your left hand on your mat. Breathe in, lift your right arm up toward the ceiling. Now gaze up toward your right fingertips. If you feel out of balance, take your gaze back to the floor. This is just a little steadier place to keep your focus. Either way is great. Twisting through your spine from the base of your tailbone through the top of your head. Holding here. Take 1 more breath in. As you breathe out, release your right hand down to the floor. We're going to take extended pyramid pose to stretch through the right hamstring. So from here, you're just going to begin to straighten your right leg. It's fine if you don't come to all the way straight, but wherever you are in your right leg, bring your forehead toward your knee. So your gaze is back toward the back of your mat. Your 2 hips are in 1 line. So you might want to check in and draw your right hip back and your left hip forward. This might not be the case for you, but check it out. It's a very easy adjustment to make on your own. Take 1 more inhale. As you exhale, come back to low lunge. Steady yourself here. We're coming into high crescent lunge. So lift both hands up off of your mat. Reach your hands up toward the ceiling. Lower your shoulders down and away from your ears. Spiral your pinky fingers in. You're active through your fingertips, and your shoulders are relaxed away from your ears. Now you can play with this little adjustment as well. Bend your left knee. Drive your left hip forward and your right hip back so your two hips are in one line. Stay here low in your front leg and then begin to straighten your back leg without moving your hip back in space. Big stretch for your left hip flexor, and you're engaging in a balancing pose with your two feet separated from one another. Take one more breath here. As you exhale, you're going to hinge forward and reach back. So airplane lunge, really engage through your triceps, which are the backs of your arms. Reach actively through your fingertips toward the back of your mat. Breathe steadily here. We're going to add one more bit of challenge here. We're going to come into rocket arms. So extend your arms forward, palms face each other. Your torso has not moved, so you're hinging forward at about 45 degrees. Feeling the burn in the right leg, that's right where you should be. On your next breath in, come up through crescent lunge, and then make your way to warrior two by placing your left heel on the floor, positioning your hips and your shoulders to the side of your mat, and then extending your arms long, palms face down, holding here once again. Let's check in with our alignment here. So press into the outer edge of your back foot so that the arch of your left foot is slightly coming off of your mat, but your toes and heel are steady. Your right knee is right over your right ankle. Two arms parallel to the earth with your fingers spread wide. Breathe in, reverse your warrior, slide your left hand down your left leg, reach your right arm up and back so you feel a nice stretch through your right side. And then as you breathe out, place both hands on your mat. Come back through high plank and chaturanga if you'd like. We'll meet in downward facing dog. Take 3 breaths in downward facing dog or extended child's pose. This is your resting posture. If downward facing dog doesn't feel restful to you, you can always choose child's pose, and this might change throughout class. We're going to take one more breath here. All right, we're going to take those poses on the other side, holding them, adjusting our alignment, checking in with our foundation, and then feeling the strength and the heat. So lift your left leg up, open your hip and bend your leg, pause here. You can hold steady or take any movements that feel good, stretching out your left quad, your left hip flexor, your right hamstring, your right inner thigh. Level out your hips, straighten out your leg. One time, knee to nose, come high on your right heel, round your spine. See if you can tap your left knee to your nose as you look past your hands. Breathe in, press up, 3-legged dog. Breathe out, step your left foot between your hands. Keep your right hand on the floor. We're coming into twisting lunge. Lift your left arm up. Look up, or once again, steady your focus down on the floor. Try to keep your 2 hips in one line. You're twisting from the base of your spine through the crown of your head. Take one more inhale breath. Breathe out, release your left hand to the floor. Extended pyramid on this side. Begin to straighten through your left leg. And then bring your forehead in the direction of your knee, looking back toward the back of your mat. Breathing steadily. As you inhale, look past your front toes. As you exhale, return to low lunge. Keep your left knee directly over your left ankle. Steady yourself as you lift your hands up off the floor and make your way to crescent lunge. We're gonna do these same adjustments on this side. So check in with your hands first. Spiral your pinky fingers in. Lower your shoulders down and away from your ears. See if drawing your left hip back and your right hip forward levels out your hips. And then do the same by releasing your right knee a little bit closer to the floor, coming deeper into your lunge. Again, 2 hips are in one line now. And then begin to extend your right leg back. So you're gonna feel potentially a deeper stretch through your right hip and your right quadricep. Take another breath in, keep your gaze steady, hinge forward and reach back. Airplane lunge. Really squeeze through your triceps so your arms aren't just hanging out there. Straighten through your back leg. Now, adding a little bit more challenge here, a little more spice. Reach your arms forward. Rocket arms, biceps are by your ears, palms face each other. Breathe steady. One long line from your fingertips all the way to your heel. Breathe in, return to crescent lunge. And breathe out, come to warrior 2. Place your left heel on the floor. Position your shoulders and your hips to the side of your mat. If your knee rolls in, look down. Make sure that your knee is over your ankle. Press into the outer edge of your back foot so that your arch slightly lifts up off the floor, but your toes stay planted. Arms are parallel to the earth. Your gaze is steady across your front arm. On your next breath in, reverse your warrior. Breath out, low lunge. And make your way back to downward facing dog. Three breaths here in our foundation, down dog or child's pose. Now we're gonna balance the holding of the postures with the flowing of the postures. So this makes our movements faster and more fluid, and hopefully graceful. So you've been in the postures, you know the alignment, you know where we're going from posture to posture. I'm going to be adding on some postures which we will hold on our first round through. All right, so lift your right leg up as you breathe in, come into low lunge as you breathe out. One breath in, twisted lunge, reach right arm up. Exhale, release. Extended pyramid, breathe in. Forehead to knee, breathe out. Flat back, breathe in, look past your toes. Low lunge, breathe out. Crescent, rise up. Airplane lunge, breathe out. Rocket lunge, breathe in. Exhale, warrior 2. Spiral open. Inhale, star. This is the first time we've been here. Exhale, prayer squat and hold. Bring your hands to your heart, thumbs to your sternum. Gaze is steady. Sink low into your hips. Draw your knees out toward your pinky toes so you feel your glutes firing and your hips opening. Lift your right heel up off the floor and release. Lift your left heel up off the floor and release. Lift both heels up off the floor and hold for 3, 2, 1, and release. Rise back up to star. And then we're going to take standing straddle splits. Position your heels behind your toes, hinge from your hips. Reach your arms off to the side so they're in a capital T, and then release your hands either to the floor underneath your shoulders, to your your big toes, peace fingers around your big toes, or you can take your hands and reach them toward your heels, maybe even cupping your heels and standing on top of your fingers. So all of these are just options for you. Pick which one you like the best and hold for another breath. Bring your hands underneath your shoulders, come up to a halfway lift. Walk your hands forward a couple of steps and then press your hips back for wide-legged down dog, stretching through your shoulders and continuing to stretch through the backs of your legs and your inner thighs. All right, walk your hands back so they're underneath your shoulders. Face your toes back out. We're returning to star pose. So rise up, reach up, exhale, warrior two. You've been here before. Inhale, reverse warrior. Exhale, Trikonasana. So straighten your front leg, reach your right fingertips forward, bring your right hand down toward your shin, block the floor. Left arm reaching up, left hand reaching toward the ceiling, two arms in one line with one another. Your chest and your torso are open to the side. Your gaze is either up toward the ceiling or down toward the floor. On your next inhale, come back up to warrior two. Exhale here. Inhale, reverse warrior once again. Exhale, low lunge. Step back through a vinyasa if you'd like. High plank, low plank. Upward facing dog and downward facing dog. Pause here for 3 breaths. Find the balance in your breath between effort and ease. So you just want to steady your breathing, coming back to that equal length in your inhale and your exhale. And then we're going to move to the other side, flowing and holding as we add on some postures. So lift your left leg up. Exhale, knee to nose. Inhale, 3-legged dog. Exhale, low lunge. Keep your right hand on the floor. Breathe in, twisted lunge. Breathe out, release your left hand to the floor. Inhale, extended pyramid. Exhale, forehead to knee. Halfway lift, nice long spine. Exhale, low lunge, preparing for crescent lunge. Rise up, crescent lunge as you breathe in. Exhale, warrior two as you breathe out. Inhale, star. Exhale, prayer squat. Inhale, lift both heels up off the floor. Exhale, release. Inhale, star. Exhale, standing straddle. Splits come all the way down. Inhale, halfway lift. Nice flat back. Walk your hands forward. Exhale, wide-legged downward facing dog. Breathe in, walk your hands back, flat back here. Breathe out, fold. Rise up, star on your breath in. Exhale, warrior two. Reverse warrior. Triangle pose, straighten your left leg. Bring your left hand to the floor, a block or your shin. Right hand reaches up toward the ceiling. See if you can keep your two shoulders in one line with one another. Your left hip rolling forward, your right hip rolling back so that your torso and your chest are open to the side. On your next breath in, reverse warrior. Low lunge. Your journey back to downward facing dog. Take your pick. We'll meet in downward facing dog for 3 breaths.
One more breath. And then we're going to move through that sequence, this time flowing the entire thing. And then we'll do some active rest on the floor, which you can look forward to. But let's look forward to this because this is going to be fun. All right, with your breath, right leg high, knee to nose, exhale. Right leg high, low lunge. Grounded twisting lunge, right arm up. Release your right hand down. Extended pyramid and fold. Halfway lift, low lunge. Crescent lunge, airplane lunge. Rocket lunge, warrior two. Star and squat. Lift your heels, release your heels. Star, straddle splits. Star, warrior two. Reverse, triangle. Reverse, low lunge. High plank, chaturanga, upward dog, downward dog. Wasn't that fun? Take 3 breaths. Steady the rhythm of your breathing. And let's begin again on the other side. Lift your left leg high, round your spine, knee to nose. Left leg high, low lunge. Grounded twist, left arm high, low lunge. Extended pyramid, straighten your leg and fold in. Halfway lift, look past your toes, low lunge. Crescent lunge, rise up. Airplane lunge, reach back. Rocket lunge, reach forward. Warrior two, open up. Star, rise up, toes out. Squat, sink down. Heels lift to balance. Release heels, exhale, sink down. Rise up, star. Standing straddle splits, breathe out. Rise up, star. Warrior two, sink in. Reverse warrior, inhale. Triangle pose, exhale. Reverse warrior, inhale, bend into that front leg. Low lunge, exhale. High plank, inhale. Lower chaturanga, exhale. Upward facing dog, inhale. Downward facing dog, exhale. Let's all make our way onto our shins. Bring your knees to touch, bring your feet wide. We're coming into hero pose. So you can sit your hips between your heels or you can sit on a block. If you don't have a block and you can't sit your hips between your heels, just sit your hips on your heels, all right? All of those options are available to you. You can hold wherever you are in your leg position with an upright spine and pause here. Or if you'd like to go deeper into the quads and the knees and the shins, you can lean back onto your hands, maybe stay here, maybe come onto your elbows, maybe release your head back, maybe come all the way down onto your back. 2 more breaths here. If you're reclined, make your way all the way back up. Place your hands in front of your knees, come back into tabletop, and then just straighten your right leg behind you, rock on your foot forward and backward. Come back into tabletop. Place your left leg straight out behind you. Rock on your foot, forward and backward, just getting blood flow back into the knee joints. Come back to tabletop position. Cross over your ankles and come to a seat. We're going to do some core work starting with boat pose. So boat is the perfect place to practice our balance and our effort and ease because it's an intense posture and it's a balancing posture. So lift your heels up off the floor. You can hold onto your thighs like I am now, or you can reach your arms forward. You can keep your legs bent, or you can straighten your legs. If you really want to spice it up and go for it, you can lift your arms all the way up toward the ceiling, but keep your chest lifted. Whichever variation you've chosen, it should be the variation that feels manageable to hold, but that you're working just past your comfort zone, all right? So we're gonna take one more inhale breath in high boat, and then we're gonna make our way to low boat. So lowering your heels and your shoulders just so they hover over the floor. Point your toes, keep your gaze past your toes, and then come back to high boat. And then come back to low boat. High boat, low boat, high, low. One more time, high, low. Come back to high, and then take your peace fingers, wrap them around your big toes. We're gonna come into upward angle. So you can stay right here with your chest lifted and your shoulders lowered, or you can come into a straddle. Take your legs wide, lower your shoulders again, keep your chest lifted, look onto the floor in front of your mat, and find a steady gaze. Return to your equal breathing, long, slow, steady breaths. If you're out of breath, yeah, that makes sense. But see if you can control your breath as we hold and pause. One more breath. All right, bring your legs back together. Return to boat. Now release your left shin on your mat so that it's parallel. We're coming into fire log pose so that it's parallel with the front of your mat. Place your right shin on top of your left shin. Place your right ankle on your left knee, and then your right knee should be right over your left ankle. So you might want to adjust your foot there. Toes are in line with heels. Heels are in line with knees. If your knee is way, way, way up, no problem. You're just working into the hip and the glute. So you gently, very gently press your knee down. All right, so steady in your seat, tall in your spine. Find a steady place to gaze, or close your eyes and hold here for 3 breaths. If you want more in the hips as you hold this, you're welcome to lean forward. We're just here for one more breath. We're going to do our longer holds toward the very end of class. So you get the hold sensation, but it's not too long because we want to keep moving. All right, so let's switch out the legs. Just cross your right shin down to the mat, your left shin on top of your right. So same adjustments I told you on this side. Find that in your legs. Sit upright, find a steady seat. Gaze steady, or close your eyes, focus on your breath, feel the sensations in your hips. Option if you're feeling a little more flexy and want to go deeper, you can hinge forward. Just an option. And we've got 3 more breaths here. Okay, that was our active rest. We're going to return to our standing postures and add on some balancing. So make your way back to down dog. You can come through a chaturanga if you want, or you can just step back. It's your choice. Okay, we're going to return to the sequence of postures that we've been doing, but we're going to add on balancing poses with that. Now, if you don't want to balance on one foot, do the postures that we've already done. I'll provide that in my cues, and let's get moving again. So on your inhale, lift your right leg high, knee to nose 1 time, round your spine. This is your core work in your flow. Extend back to 3-legged dog, step forward, low lunge. Grounded twist, breathe in, release, breathe out. Now we're skipping pyramid this time. Breathe in, crescent. Breathe out, airplane lunge. Now if you want to take the balance, you'll move into full airplane pose. Lifting your left foot up off the floor. We're going to hold this in whatever variation you're in for 3 and 2 and 1. If your foot is lifted, release it back down to the floor. Circle your left arm up and around. We're skipping rocket lunge and coming into warrior 2. Reverse warrior is your inhale breath. Now you can take triangle again, or if you want to balance, come into half moon pose. Once again, lifting your left foot up off the floor, shoulders and hips open to the side for 3 and 2 and 1. Release into prayer squat. Sink down, hands to your heart. Rise up, star. Exhale, standing straddle splits. Come all the way down. Now we're going to hold standing straddle splits. I'm going to give you a bunch of options here. So you can rock side to side into some skandasana lunges, side lunges. Or if you want to balance on your head, you can release your head down onto your mat, lift your feet up off the floor. Okay, or you can just hold, not just standing straddle splits. It's an awesome posture. And we're just here for 1 more breath. If you're inverted, you can bring your feet back down onto the floor, come into standing straddle splits. Rise up on your inhale back to star. Exhale, warrior 2. Inhale, reverse warrior. Exhale, low lunge. High plank, low plank. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog. 3 breaths here in down dog or child's pose. And then we're going to look forward to balancing the same postures on the other side. All right, let's go. Lift your left leg up 1 time, knee to nose. Left leg high, 3-legged, low lunge. Grounded twist, lift your left arm up and release. No pyramid pose this time. Inhale, crescent lunge. Exhale, airplane lunge or airplane. We'll be here for 3 breaths. In airplane pose, really press back through your right big toe, level your hips, and we're here for 1 more breath. If your right leg is lifted, release it back down onto your mat. Breathe in, crescent lunge. Breathe out, warrior 2. We're preparing for half moon pose, so reverse warrior. And then you can take triangle again, or you can balance, stepping onto your left foot. Right leg lifts, right arm reaches. 2 shoulders, 2 hips in one line for one more breath. Our release is prayer squat. Step wide, lower down, bring your hands to your heart. Rise up, star, and standing straddle splits. Holding here for 3 breaths. You can invert again if you'd like to. You can hold steady, focusing on your breathing. You can sway side to side, coming into side lunges. You can dip your shoulders in and twist your spine. And if you're inverted, release your feet to the floor. We're all gonna rise back through star as we breathe in. Return to warrior 2. Reverse warrior. Low lunge. Back to down dog. High plank, inhale. Chaturanga Dandasana, exhale. Upward facing dog, inhale. Downward facing dog, exhale. Walk your hands to your feet so you're at the back of your mat. Rise up, tall mountain. Connect the palms of your hands above your head. Bring them down to heart center. Feel both feet steadily grounded on the floor, your toes each making contact with your mat. Your gaze finds a steady place to rest out in front of you, or you can even close your eyes. To find your center, just rock back and forth, back and forth. Take a circle in one direction, take a circle in the other direction, and one more time back and forth, and then find that sweet spot right in the middle to rest. Okay, we're gonna move into tree pose. Let's start by standing on our right foot. You can bring your left foot to your ankle, calf, or inner thigh. Of course, you can use your hands for assistance. Getting your foot into place. And then roll your shoulders down and away from your ears. Draw your left knee back so your glute is engaged and your hip is open. Feel your foot working to keep you steady. Feel your leg nice and strong. Okay, this with your hands at heart and your palms connected is a very stable and grounding place to stay. If you'd like to, you can reach your arms up overhead. And there's lots of other arm variations that you can take with tree pose. So pick your favorite, the one where you feel that equal effort and ease. So if it's too hard, back off with your foot or your hands. If it's just a little too easy, if you will, maybe try to lift your gaze or lift your hands up. Just that sweet spot of a little bit of challenge and a little bit of ease. If you practice one pose in yoga every single day, I would recommend tree. That's my opinion. All right, release your left foot. Maybe wiggle out your legs, preparing to balance on the left side. So left foot planted steadily, right foot to ankle, calf, or inner thigh. And just start with hands at heart. So draw your right knee back, feel your right glute engage more. They should be engaged always. And then feel the steadiness of your foot, using all those micro movements to keep you balanced. Feel the strength of your left leg supporting the rest of your body. Okay, your gaze should be steady, your breath should be steady. If not, work toward that. Steady gaze, steady breath.
And pick your arm variation. You can keep your hands at heart center. That feels really grounding, which it typically does. Find that sweet spot between effort and ease. Place your right foot back on the floor. Bring your arms alongside your body for mountain pose. Really strong, steady pose. Palms face out. Shoulders down, away from your ears as you reach up through your crown, the top of your head. Breathe in, reach your arms up. Look up, connect the palms of your hands above your head. Exhale, hands through heart. Circle them down and around. Breathe in, reach up. Breathe out through heart center. Just working with our breath and our energy. Breathe in, rise up, reach up, look up. Breathe out, ground down. One more time. Circle it around, breathe in, look up. Exhale through heart center and then forward fold, bringing your hands now down to the earth. Halfway lift, look forward toward the front of your mat. Walk your hands forward so you're in a high plank pose, lower down onto your belly. All right, we're gonna come into half frog pose on your belly. So bring your right leg out. Thigh is going to be parallel with the top of your mat. Shin is going to be parallel with the side of your mat. Toes flexed so that, or foot is flexed so that your toes are in line with your heel. And then you can place your hands right below your forehead and rest your forehead on your hands. Or you can place your cheek on the floor and place your arms in a cactus position. Hold here, breathing steadily. Enjoying this hip opening. Okay, we're gonna take this into an optional twist. Of course, everything's always optional, but I'm gonna guide you through the twist. You're gonna come up onto your right palm and then slide your left arm underneath, kind of like a thread the needle type of a situation. Your left palm is gonna face up, and then you're gonna bring your right arm up and over. And then you have the option, if you would like, of placing your left hand on your right knee, or you can have it planted on the floor, and then reach your right arm across, whatever shape is accessible to you. Maybe a cactus, maybe a straight arm, maybe you tent your fingers. It's a very, very deep twist coming from your stomach instead of from your back. So just work with it, and most importantly, breathe through it for one more breath. Okay, let's all make our way back onto our belly, legs straight out behind. We're moving into half frog on the other side. So bring your left leg out to the side. Your thigh is parallel to the top of your mat. Your shin is parallel to the side of your mat, so it should be making a 90-degree angle. And then you can come into resting forehead on your hands, or you can take cheek to the floor and take a cactus shape, opposite cheek of what you chose before. If you're taking this option, we're gonna hold here for a couple breaths before we move into the twist. Let's take the twist now. All right, so press up into your hands. You're gonna slide your right arm underneath your left, come onto your shoulder, and then you're gonna twist, bringing your left arm up and over. Again, working with the twist, it's pretty deep and intense since we're coming from our stomach. Again, you can rest your right hand on your left knee.
You can cactus your left arm, you can tent your left fingertips, whatever feels most comfortable, and fix your gaze to the side, up or forward. Last breath here. Make your way back onto your belly, both legs extended out behind you, and then we're gonna windshield wiper the legs. So take your knees a little bit wider than your hips, feet up off the floor, and then just sway your feet side to side, rocking out the hips. And then extend your legs long, feet right in line with your hips. We're gonna take locust pose with chest expansion or yoga mudra behind the back. So interlace your hands behind the back, press the palms of your hands toward one another, and then press your your hands back toward your heels, and then option to lift your feet up off the floor. And we're gonna hold here for 3, 2, and 1. Release, take your right ear or right cheek to the mat, arms rest alongside your body for 3, 2, 1. Bring your chin back to your mat. Bring your feet to mat distance apart. Bring your arms parallel out to a capital T. On your inhale, lift your feet and your hands up off the floor. See if you can get your hands to the height of the top of your head and hold for 3 and 2 and 1. Rest your left ear onto your mat, arms alongside your body, and rest for 3 and 2 and 1. Last spine strengthener, bring your chin back to your mat for Dhanurasana or bow pose. So bend your legs, reach your hands back to your feet, take hold of both feet with both hands, and then lift your thighs up off the floor. Lift your chest up off the floor as you kick your feet into your hands for 3 and 2 and 1. And release. Right ear to your mat. Arms alongside your body for 3 and 2 and 1. All right, we're gonna come into seal pose. So bring your hands to the front corners of your mat. You can, it's gonna depend on where your chest is. You're gonna press up onto your hands so they're wider than your shoulders. Come to straight arms, but don't lock out your elbows. Feet are resting flat on the floor. They can be a little bit wider than hip distance apart. So once again, adjust your hands so that you're coming up to the height that works for you. And then you can slightly lift your chin, but keep your gaze on the floor. This is a big supported back bend. So again, choosing your own height. If coming way up is too much like discomfort or crunching in the low back, just lower down. And then your other option is to come into Sphinx. So your forearms are on the floor. So seal or Sphinx. And we're just gonna hold here just for another couple breaths. Big posture. All right, let's all release down, left cheek or ear to the mat. Arms alongside your body for 3 and 2 and 1. Press back to child's pose. So counter pose for those back bends, those 4 back bends that we did. Walk your hands forward, release your forehead down to your mat. Find a quiet, meditative rhythm here in child's pose and just hold. walk your hands back towards your knees, cross over your ankles, make your way down onto your back. We're just gonna do one more posture before Shavasana. It's an inversion, so I'm gonna cue you through Shoulderstand. If Shoulderstand is not in your wheelhouse, then pick a different inversion. If you prefer a headstand, a handstand, forearm balance, whatever is most comfortable, the right balance between effort and ease. If one of those is like way out of your range, try to pick something that is within your range. All right, so for Shoulderstand, you can take your hands flat to your mat right under your hips. And then press your feet up toward the ceiling. Here's step one. You can stay here, legs at the wall. You are inverted. Your head is below your heart. If you want to take it further, rock your hips up off of your mat. Take your hands to your lower back. Point your toes up toward the ceiling. Gaze past your toes toward the ceiling. Reach through the balls of your feet. And hold here. These are your last couple breaths in whichever variation of an inversion you're in. We're all going to meet in Apanasana, knees to chest pose. So wrap your arms around your legs. You can hold onto your knees with your hands, or you can take opposite hand to opposite elbow. Squeeze your knees in as you lower your tailbone down to the floor. And then for our last breath, if you'd like to take your forehead toward your knees, hug into a tight little ball. And release your head back down to the floor and release to Shavasana. Shavasana, our final practice, or our final posture in this practice is all ease. So you want to move around and make yourself comfortable on your mat. Your feet are nice and relaxed. Legs are heavy, hips are heavy. Arms rest wherever is comfortable, and fingers are nice and soft. Your breath is flowing smoothly and steadily, so you can release any effort to control your breath. Just let it flow naturally in and out through your nose into your lungs, lifting and lowering your chest. Feel the weight of your head resting on your mat. Your eyelids resting softly, blocking out any distraction or light. Rest your jaw. Let your tongue rest on the top of your mouth. Your teeth are parted. Your face is soft. Your head is heavy.
Yoga and the Fall Equinox are both celebrations of balance. Through our presence, we learn to steady ourselves even in times of transition. Just as nature moves into a new season, we too can use yoga to align our inner world with the cycles of the earth, creating balance and peace within.
If you have the time, stay in this soft, quiet space, this meditative posture. If you're ready to move on, you can roll off onto one side, cradling your head in your arm, and to sit up. When you're ready, you can press your way up to a seated position. For a formal closing, cross your legs. Bring your hands to your heart. Rest your eyes gently, either closed or nice steady gaze. Just taking this final moment in gratitude for the amazing and transformational power of yoga. Taking this moment in gratitude for the beautiful season of fall, the balance of light and dark. See if you can take that focus on the balance of effort and ease, the balance of light and dark. With you off of your mat, into your day-to-day activities, and with gratitude, I thank you for joining me today. And today, as you go forward, may you have peace in your thoughts, peace in your words, most especially peace in your heart, from my heart to each and every single one of yours. Namaste.